It's been out for a while, but I bet you remember watching Ghost Hunters on TV. Well, if you're a fan of the show, then we have a real treat for you tonight because we are talking to Grant Wilson, and he is answering some of your questions about ghosts. This is the Sunday Night Breakdown. All right, everyone, we have a very special guest on the line, and this is someone I'm extremely excited to talk to. Goes by the name of Grant Wilson. I'm sure you guys all know him. Grant, we want to thank you for joining us on the After Hours show.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Now, Grant, I'm not going to lie, a lot of our listeners probably know you from the hit series Ghost Hunters, and by now they probably have noticed that you're not on the show on a weekly basis. But that doesn't mean, by any means, that you're done ghost hunting. Is that safe to say?
That is absolutely correct. A lot of people, they reacted like I died when I left the show.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm happy, healthy, still married, everything. All these rumors came out. But yeah, I mean, I've been investigating since I was 15, and I'm not stopping now. I'm investigating off camera and having a blast doing it.
Yeah, and that's good. And sometimes that's better because I can only imagine how stressful things can get while you're trying to film and you're on a time schedule.
Yeah, it's a totally different world. And on the show, you're basically watching a preliminary investigation where we go in and try to figure out what's going on, and then we hand the case off to a local group and go on our merry way.
Oh, really?
Now that being off the show, I'm able to continue and see a case through to the end, which is nice. It's like old times.
Grant, what I want to do right now is I want to read you some listener questions, if that's all right.
Sure, that'd be great.
And I'm just reading it exactly like it's written. It says, some videos showed up online of the flashlight test being a mechanical flaw / not paranormal. Where do you stand on this?
Yeah, well, as far as the flashlight test goes, that's an old technique we've used. And yeah, if you don't do it properly, it can be a mechanical flaw. And we're not looking for communication through a flashlight that gives you a couple answers here or there. What we're looking for is to use that technique until the communication becomes undeniable. In other words, you ask control questions and it consistently answers correctly. Now, if a lot of people just kind of loosen the flashlight and let it do its thing, but one step they almost always forget is when you got the flashlight set just right, you put it on the surface and then you hit the surface or stomp on the ground next to the flashlight.
Oh, okay.
And if it lights up, then it's too sensitive.
That makes sense. And I can actually, they probably don't show you do that on the show. So then people go and try to debunk it, and they're not seeing the full, you guys making sure it's soundproof, kind of.
Exactly. I mean, we'll tell you all day long that we're not scientists. We try to use common sense.
Yeah.
But you know, that's common sense there, is that, okay, maybe this is just shorting or whatever. That's kind of typical of the whole experience with the show, is that you don't get to know everything, and then people start to learn from what they see on the show, and they don't necessarily learn correctly. And that's a frustration of mine. And that's why I do a lot of events and I try to correct or fill in the blanks so that people can do this correctly.
Yeah, which is good. And actually, it's good that you guys do that because we had a guest on, I don't know, a long time ago, and he did the same thing you guys did, but with UFOs. And I the same thing can apply to you, but I said it's kind of unfortunate that you have people putting out, purposely putting out fake footage because it ruins it for the people who do it legitimately.
Exactly. And it's kind of a trend, and I won't get too long on it, but a lot of people get into the paranormal. They see what we do, they think it's cool and all that stuff, which it is, but they get into it and they have a goal of having that paranormal experience, of catching ghosts, of catching good footage, and that goal can be a poison. If your goal is to catch the paranormal, you're going to burn out, or you're gonna have false positive. But if your goal is to help the people who are being haunted or bothered by the spirits, then you're gonna be successful. No matter what the truth of it is, be it a spirit or a draft or whatever, as long as you find the truth, you're satisfied and you won't burn out.
And I think that's a really good way to look at it. And definitely there's been people who have started ghost hunting because of your show and other shows like it. So I think it's important that they hear that side of it too. I have one story that I want to tell you, and I might not tell it exactly right, but I know basically what happened because I talked to the person last week when he found out you were going to be here.
Okay.
What should someone do if they feel like a spirit has attached itself to them after an investigation? And basically what happened was, we're in New Hampshire, so, and I think you guys have been there, the Mount Washington Hotel?
Oh, yeah, totally.
He went there, I don't know exactly when, this was before I knew him, and did some investigating, not even like serious investigating, just kind of walking around, and felt weird and felt like something followed him home. And at work, he felt drained, no energy. And then at one point he said, I don't know what flew across the room. Maybe we'll just say like a spray bottle or something. And then he felt no energy. And I think how he got rid of it was he prayed and asked God to, help him, or what. I don't know exactly what he said in the prayer, but the prayer was what got the thing away from him. But it was literally draining his energy, he said. Interesting.
Well, an entity can be one of two things. It can be something that isn't human, or it can be something that is. Most 99% of the time, it's what we would classify. Now, we don't know for sure, but as theory.
Yep.
We would classify it as a dead human being, a person, intelligent haunt. And like the living, they have a whole range of emotions, of addictions, ambitions, cravings, whatever. And anything that can attach a living person to something or someone can do the same for an entity. They're not any different. They're just maybe in a more confused state. So he could have walked through there and a spirit could have found something interesting about him and followed him around and in an attempt to try to manifest, may have drained some of his energy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, if you were trying to get someone's attention, they started praying to God for safety and for help, you might want to walk away too. So I don't think the prayer got rid of it. It may have just said, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, kind of like the same way I can hear someone talking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And, I don't really know the full story, and I don't know, he might even be sensitive, because he's told me on a couple occasions recently where he gets he says just bad vibes off people, but I don't really know what goes into being sensitive.
Well, everyone's you're not either sensitive or not. There's I picture it as a spectrum. So, everybody's got a little bit of a level of sensitivity.
Yeah.
Where maybe you and I might be lower end of the spectrum, he might be somewhere up, maybe not all the way. And so he might be a little bit more sensitive to energies and things like that. And so he could tell his energy was being drained, where you and I might just yawn,
Oh, yeah. If it's that subtle, I probably would never tell.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm the same way. But having done it for so long, you get a knack for what's going on when. But I'm not sensitive like that.
Yeah. So once again, guys, we're talking to Grant Wilson. Those are the listener questions I had. And Grant, is there any closing thoughts that you want to say?
No, just thanks for having me on, Mark. And if you want me on again, I'm happy to join. You guys, you've been very professional, and it's an honor being on this show. I appreciate it. I appreciate hearing that as well, Grant. So we want to thank you for being on the show, and we'd love to have you back sometime. Will do.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
The After Hour Show. The After Hour Show.
Mark Hamill on the commentary. Along with Trish, Tyler, and Ghouls. Getting 2,500 views. So please subscribe. And if you choose the best subscription up on YouTube, be reaching me, it be reaching you. It's your boy Renegade with your girl Jules. Street Poetics Entertainment is LA with our rules. Grab a drink, get turned up, drunk like ghouls. Getting stupid, dumb straight, hacking like fools.